Okay, so I'm just going to do a reading. I'm cleansing the space on Elaine Chao, and you know, her father, her connection to her father and her parents. I actually was able to, with free online means, create a basic chart with this, you know, via astrology for them, just to get some key things that I understand. And I will include those in the description box, and you can go look. It's really interesting about her mother and father, and certain similarities in their charts, and I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to cleanse my deck, and of course, happy 2021. It's a dynamic year that we're going to be in, and it's a good one. Okay? A lot of work, but the positive thing is we're progressing. We will progress. So, I'm going to clear myself here, any and all negativity and clarity from cleansing from previous readings that I do. Sometimes, you know, that can bleed over. So, it's really entirely necessary to have a cleansing, means of cleansing spiritually in some way. Whether a lot of people do the spiritual baths, which I think are awesome. But being a paraplegic, and I don't have super wealthy way, I don't have one of those motorized bathtubs where the chair, there's a seat that comes up and down. I'd love to have one of them. So you can do it that way. For me, my means are limited, so I prefer, although I can do it in the shower, it's just not quite the same thing, you know. I do that. I do like to do that clearing work. So anyway, very important, and I think we've got that. I am going to be using the Yoshitani Tarot of the Divine. Okay. And if I need to have a clarifier, I've got the Madame Endora Fortune cards. Okay. And I think we're ready to go. I'm just going to set this cleansing smoke aside in a safe place, don't worry. So let's get started. This might be more lengthy, so I'm going to quite possibly, and more than likely, we'll see, end up cutting this video in two halves. Now, I really wanted to look at her relationship with her parents, and I really find it interesting, actually, as much as I really don't care for her as a person. Her story, and you're curious, well, how did she end up being this way? You know, everyone has a story, and I think hers is interesting, and I want to learn more. But I'm going to include links, not only for you to further read up on what I've been able to find, but it's also for me to go back to and look over, because often I just use that link as a form of information or where there's something pertinent, and I don't get to always read it all the way through, so it's kind of like a bookmark also for myself. And I want to read more about what happened. I mean, her parents had to leave, and they fled to Taiwan. And she was born in America. She's the oldest of a number of other siblings that she has. And both of her parents were born in China. Her father is a Capricorn, and like his wife, he has the same midheaven as his natal sun. Now, was a Pisces. She died in 2007. But Ruth, her mother, had so much water in her chart. It's amazing. And I want you to look at it. And those of you who are more knowledgeable than me in astrology, feel free to drop all kinds of comments. Because it's, I mean, like, she has, okay, Pisces, obviously, Ruth has her natal sun in Pisces. She has, I think, a Cancer moon. And then she has, I believe, that the Pisces midheaven. And her ascendant, I'll have to go back and look. I think it's water as well. No, her ascendant actually, no. I'm sorry. I will have to look at that. Now, her father, Elaine's father, James, the Capricorn, has a Aries moon. But you can see that he's a real, some of the things I just caught very quickly in scanning his chart, that he's a real adventurer, traveler, has the desire to expand, work hard. You know, it sounds like, you know, well, basically what he did, and it fits him. And so there will be links to further expand, not only for yourself, but myself, out of basic curiosity. I was always a fan of history and biographies and memoirs, and understanding everybody's stories can be interesting. So let's just take a look. That was my stomach just going rrr. So Elaine's dad should show up as a King of Pentacles. If he's going to come up in his moon, it would be, I believe, Aries, but I'll double check that in a minute. And her mother will definitely come up as a Queen of Cups. And of course, Elaine is a fire sign. She's an Aries. I'll put links to all. I will put links to both hers and Mitch and both of her parents in the description box, so that you can, if you're so inclined, dig a little deeper and see what you think if you're just curious. And so I can too. Because it's a lot of information. And then to just kind of take in and then assimilate and then apply. Wherein such things as astrology or tarot, you know, come into. Do your own little investigating. Do what we gotta do. I think it'll give you appreciation even more. And I bet a lot of you guys do it anyway. Out of curiosity. I think most of us do. But let's focus. I'm sorry. So let's look at the situation. I want to understand Elaine's connection and relationship to her parents, and how she's felt about her parents and what her feelings are with regard to them. Just what does the universe want to reveal? I trust the universe to let us know. But I am curious to understand her relationship with her parents better. What can the universe share with us about that? And I ask, as always, for the source of truth and love, the Creator, and my spiritual helpers to help me read accurately. So let's take a look at what the universe wants to share with regard to Elaine Chao and her mother and father. What would it benefit us to know or understand? Thank you. I'll be reading in pairs, and again it will be horizontal and diagonal, but I'm also going to be bringing in some different different spreads for different aspects of readings, like health. I found a couple of spreads that I am experimenting with reading, and I like them. So I want to employ more of that too. Sorry, I know this is a bit of a chatter, but as you know, it's how I have to get in gear. I will timestamp this. So Elaine Chao and her family, her mother and father. What do we need to know? Universe? Thank you. I am ready. Wow, okay. We have the Five of Cups. Okay. Three of Swords. There's a lot of heartbreak here already. A lot of sorrow, a lot of mourning, grieving, loss. Division, separation. And of the three can also be associated with illness. Three of Coins. So now we have 2 threes. And this to me is like family business. It's also dealing with perhaps the three of them, her mom, and her dad, it almost feels like. But we're looking at, regardless, a card that indicates more than one person, a small group of people. This could also be just indicative of their family, although I would not consider their family small. But our focus today is small and is just more upon her and her parents. But I'm open to if siblings need to pop in for some reason. So this could be family, it can be family business. Certainly she would have learned that from her dad. Her mother was also a businesswoman. I did catch that. So both parents were, I think, really interested and very ambitious, and partially out of necessity to survive. And there's the Emperor. Okay, there's Dad. Okay, there's her father. This is a sad thing that happens with... I need to get some repairing glue and just make sure I get that repaired. I don't want it to shred. I'm rather suspectful that she really could possibly miss her mother. I think she and her father and her mother may have been very close, as like maybe this three here. I feel like she may have been kind of like the third parent. If all of you, I don't know if any of you have ever heard that reference before, but I did growing up in the Midwest, where there are large families, especially if, at the time where I was growing up, there were greater farm families that tended to have more kids, and usually the oldest would be called the third parent by the much less appreciative younger siblings. I remember one of my friends. I only have an older brother, but I remember, and that's enough to go. Yeah, if you have an older sibling that acts like a third parent, there you go. Enough with that. But I feel like there's definitely a sense of mourning and loss. And since her mother died, and the cards I'm getting here so far, just in this first line, make me feel like it's probable that that is indicating Elaine being very close and missing. Actually, I think really missing her mother. Because I think she identified the three of them as a team. Again, she has this team thing. And I think maybe with, Mitch, how I said, and I kept seeing again about them being, they are a team, it looks like we're getting that same pattern here. So maybe she's, and of course, human beings, it wouldn't be surprising if she did bring that pattern where where her partnership, her marriage is concerned, because she had it with her parents, it looks like. That sense of they were a team. A little ash here, sorry. All right. That's very interesting. Now, what was also interesting, just as a side note, I don't know if many of you know this, but let me grab my coffee. Not that that's terribly interesting, but it is to me right now. Her family is interesting. Her mother, Ruth, her middle name, I think, is Mulan, and it's after the Chinese heroine Mulan. I thought that was interesting. I do not know what her mother passed away from. Her father is still alive. He is at this time 93. And I'm not sure where he lives now, but anyhow, here, yeah, he came to America. Duh, Maya. And Elaine was born, their firstborn child in America. Okay. I think so. Now that, they did have to flee to Taiwan. She is the first child born. Now, I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Let's continue with the reading. We'll pick that up later. Okay, we do have the Ace of Cups. Look at that tremendous amount of emotion overflowing. Wow, I didn't expect this. This is real heavy, folks. I think she really does miss her mother. This is that, and trying to move on. I think the loss of her mother was really hard. she may have since moved to a better place, or she is moving currently toward a better place. Her emotions look very where her mother and father are concerned. She has very deep emotions, very strong emotions, very. And I think it's she and maybe this is where Mitch is, that support for her, would really need assistance, emotional support with that. And I think that then when you see, like I just saw that teen thing, that repeat of a pattern, and it looks like she's doing that with Mitch, she's replicating, I think, her sense of strength and security from childhood and the relationship she had with her parents. Interesting. Nine of Swords. Wow, man. Yeah, I'm getting that it really affected her mentally, some sort of loss. And again, because I don't see the mother in the picture, I feel like the loss of the mother was hard on her father and Elaine particularly, because they viewed themselves as kind of the Three Musketeers, it looks almost like, of the family. That she was a helper and helped, part of the adult, it feels like to me. Page of Wands. I see her father despite this great sorrow that they've been through, that they went through in leaving China, fleeing it, and what they endured. And I see it was hardship. Heartbreaking for them to, I believe, also very sad for them to leave China, clearly the way that they had to. That separation. But I believe also that her father, as far as business and working and trying to, that he may have had some promise elsewhere. Okay? So I think we're both looking at a few things. The early trauma her parents endured, her bond with them seems to be showing up, and kind of their mantra is of, though things may make you feel very deeply moved, you must try to move forward and be strong and endure. The Nine of Wands is also definitely a card of enduring many hardships and battles. And it can leave you with scars. It can leave you a little damaged. But there's a resilience here that has been taught and handed down and is part of their families, I think, source of strength and means of survival. It's how they got through what her parents did. And I believe they've clearly, it's been a very influential, emotionally impactful upon Elaine. And especially now that with her dad, I feel there was enthusiasm here to go and travel, That also comes up in his astrological chart that I scanned very quickly. It'll get deeper. I just got to finish laying these out. It's tracking. I just am waiting to see what else comes up. Chariot. It's about also victory over these emotions, over this pain with the chariot, and the chariot is also about travel, moving on, leaving, looking, I think, also for new memories elsewhere in another physical location. There is both a great deal of excitement, bittersweet, but also a great deal of excitement and enthusiasm to move on and go different places and excel. And motivated by past difficulties and hardships. That really has affected her, but boy, I'm sure we'll get to that. Ace of Coins. Also, here is the success with business, finance, also transportation. Of course, ding dong. He ran a he's no longer running it. He's stepped down only recently, but he ran a transportation company that we all know about. That I got to find that article as well about the drugs on one of his ships. And I mean, not just a little bit like somebody's personal use. This was not that. This is like, hey, got a little drug trafficking going on here. Let's continue to lay this out and get on with it. We have strength. Yes, very much so encouraged to be resilient and strong. And I think it affected her so much, honestly, that she's gone to the other extreme where she doesn't want to experience what her parents experienced, I think. And so she's trying to secure her power. I think there's definitely, when you look at it through that scope and you see how she's gone on to become somebody who can secure their well-being that her parents couldn't do in China, which they fled. It's no coincidence. I think part of that attraction was to try to address a deep family issue of having to flee and go to another country. Other countries, it looks like her dad kind of liked that aspect. And it shows up in the cards, and as I said, his astrology chart. I see her deeply bonded with both of her parents. I really feel like this shows that the loss of the mother, she would be the one that would be missing out if I'm looking at them as 1, 2, and 3, which I feel like I'm being given that, and the business and the family story. King of Coins, and her dad's business acumen. That's her father. He's the King of Coins. I did tell you he's Capricorn, so there he is. He is, yes. He taught her how to be strong, and especially as a woman. Her mother as well taught her that. I feel like because she's a businesswoman. I think the thing that happened with her, with Elaine, though, is that I, for instance, have my family were persecuted and had to flee Latvia, they bounced as well, trying to find a place to go during World War II. Luckily, eventually, they were able to leave the displacement camps and come to America. Well, Elaine's family came here not quite the same way, but they went through a lot too. And I think that that fear that instills of ever being that insecure or vulnerable again can make you go to another extreme, and you may not be fully conscious of it. I've noticed it in things like with my grandmothers and things, habits that they picked up from not having that remained out with them throughout their lives. I think here too we have kind of that nature and nurture. She has been told the stories. She has genetic memory of the trauma of what her parents go through. You do, whether you know it or not. It's in there, knocking around. And I think for Elaine, this kind of helps me to understand her behavior. Doesn't make me like her any greater, but I feel like, oh, okay. It gives me a greater understanding of the relationship, I feel like, absolutely, that she had with her parents, and how she looks at things, and how it's got to be that you have to succeed, and every dime counts. Also, to start businesses and be successful, definitely there's that penny pinching here value, but it's gone into stinginess. When I get the Four of Pentacles like I got for her in the last one, where she's clinging, sometimes you're just holding on, sometimes you're clinging, and greedy people get it, the clinging. And this to me makes me feel like she's very, very been taught, and especially with a larger family, I'm sure they had to, until they became more established, be careful, make their money count. And the priority with the money is for themselves. I think there's a bit of a ruthlessness too that may have been given, definitely, about being strong and being the one that you don't show weakness. Page of Coins. Here I think too she was taught early as a child about money and about material possessions, and I think once definitely her parents were able to become more and more successful, she could have had a very privileged, I believe, upbringing and childhood. The world, traveling, there's nothing closed. There was nothing off limits. The world was her oyster, and from early on, that is also in effect. So she was taught by her parents early on about the extreme of not having and how horrible that was, to appreciating a better lifestyle. And that can go from not just appreciating, but to fearing ever losing it. And especially, again, with parents that remind you that you don't want to fail. Knight of Cups, this is about taking action and death, and radical change. Radical change. I think also they taught her a certain fearlessness. That's why she's, a resilient person. But she's also been very pampered and does not have and is terrified to ever know what it's like to be any less than extremely well off. Let's take another look at this. Knight of Cups and Death. Because it's a sudden change. Nine of Cups. This is all about pleasure. Also, got to bring it up because her dad dealt with shipping, transportation. Well, traditionally this is a merchant card. The merchant is the one that's usually grinning behind us, in front of several, like 9 cups, right, that are behind him. And from what I've read about that card, he's if it's properly dignified, it's sharing this lavishness, sharing one's good fortune and generosity, excess. It can also be sometimes the card of overindulgence in substances or things that are pleasurable. But this is in connection to a King of Wands. This could be, I don't know, I need to look at, maybe this was, did she have a sibling pass? A male sibling pass? That may not be accurate. So, radical change. This could also just be that if you want radical change, you have to be the one to make it. Don't wait for it. I definitely get that she was taught to be a go-getter. So that could be what that is. And, it would have been, she's very ambitious. So I think this could go along with that. And this is the pleasure, the lifestyle. King of Wands. Is this Trump? Is this someone else? Is this another aspect of family or somebody else in her life? Well, her father did have a fire moon. So that could be him also. But I think he encouraged her to be educated, and a radical change, I think, from what he and his wife may have been taught. Definitely something along those lines, because it makes sense with the other cards of being strong and persevering and not being willing to push the envelope. She was taught to do that, and her father has that in his chart as well, from what I saw. The Moon and the Five of Wands. Yeah, this is about playing dirty. If you have to play dirty, if you have to fight using sneaky means, underhanded means, is not off the table. I think this is something that maybe her dad also shared with her. Because I do feel like their family is very, or at least she and her mom and dad, very close. And I get a sense that just in general, their family's very tight-knit. You know, they are a team, and this is the whole thing, that they are, you know, their blood is extremely thick, you know. But I see that this deals with the hidden aspects. The aspects of when you go down a dark path, you're going to have to learn how to fight. And I think her dad, if you're going to play that game, be willing to go that path to expedite your wealth, like many people do, you're going to be tested. It shows to me too that she's born a fighter, and she's willing to go down those dark routes and play dirty, cheat, whatever she's got to do in order to win, because she too really subscribes to that winning. Very competitive woman. Whoops. Okay, the Sun and the Six of Cups. So yes, this is on her childhood. I'm going to end with this. She has fond memories of her childhood. I feel like, and there's some kind of, there's clarity too, where I think siblings are concerned, and her past. Very, very tight-knit family that don't trust anybody. But again, it's the one of those big wealthy families that they probably don't trust each other even so much. They know each other, but I think her family really does have strong affection. Is there, at least with her. She is capable of strong affection, despite being a cold, hard person. She's been taught this mentality, and she's also added to it out of her own fear and insecurity and privilege. It's terrified of losing that privilege. So there's just a little insight on her and her parents. I found that to be entertaining and interesting, and I feel like it's probably on point. It feels like a good, tight read. So I'm going to end here. This is a long video, and I'll split this in half, and I'll pop this up for those that are interested. And I'm probably going to do another reading yet. I haven't decided what. I still am going to do Deb Holland, but we'll see. I don't want to spend my... I need some downtime from doing readings, so I might just leave this one here for today, because it's 2 readings really. Yeah. Okay. So happy first day of 2021, and be positive, okay? Know that with as much as you worry, that we are moving forward now, and that's a very good thing. It's going to be a difficult thing, but a good thing at the end of the day. All right? Okay. Next video, I shall speak with you then. Au revoir.